Yoni?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm not in Australia. I'm in California.
No, I just said that in Australia it's Laila Tom.
Yes. I would like, before I start, first I want to thank you for a great idea.
Thank you.
Finally, somebody took care of the woman choreographer, put some spotlight on them. That's very nice. And I thank you very much for it.
Thank you. So first, I want to say, I'm sorry because it's like, I just want to say again that I'm sorry. I want to apologize. I know that all the women are not inside the project. A lot of beautiful women I miss, and they're doing a lot for Bailarikud Event, like a camp director, website designer, a website manager, and a teacher all over the world. But it is too much, and we have to choose. And for me, the first is to push the choreographer. And maybe we will do a second time with camp director, because there are many, a lot of teachers all over the world, a lot of choreographer I think I miss in Israel, and I'm sorry for that. I didn't choose. Some of them told me, oh, you miss the center or the south or something like that. I just see about my database. So I'm sorry if I miss some people, some women. I very apologize for that. And we can start. I think, Yoni, you want to start?
I don't mind, but I have to give a disclosure. Okay?
Okay.
So my disclosure is this. When I was in Bal in 1960 to 67, all what I care about is dancing, like all the young dancers, and just the creation, working with Sara. However, I knew nothing about her background. So I had a fast crash course with reading some books. And for that reason, I will quote from the book, and I have some note from the book. And also I would recommend 2 books that I had the sources. One of them, Seeing Israeli and Jewish Dance, a great book for a dancer to read. Could you see it?
Up. Push up. Yes. Speak.
Okay, but could you see the book?
Yes.
Okay, and the other one is by Giora Manor, and he wrote about Sara Levi Tanai. Those are my 2 sources. And I'm going to be reading, unfortunately, from the note that I have, because I couldn't have a crash course and remember everything by heart. Okay? Could you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So Sara was born in 1910 and passed away on 2005. She was 94 years old. Sara was Israeli choreographer and songwriter. She was the founder and artistic director of the Inbal Dance Theater and recipient of the Israeli Prize in Dance. Inbal is the tongue of the bell. Okay? The tongue of the bell, that's what Inbal means. Sara Levi Tanai was born in Jerusalem to Yemenite parents. Orphaned at young age, she grew up in institute and trained to be a kindergarten teacher. Her work was with children, extended to performing in children's theater. When Sara Levi Tanai worked as a kindergarten teacher in kibbutz Ramat HaKovesh during World War II, she composed songs and dances such as her winning El Ginat Egos to the Walnut Grove. This has become classic of both Israeli folk song and dance. Encounter with Yemen. In 1949, 1 year after foundation of the independent state of Israel, she met with her true destiny. She encountered a group of youngsters who had just arrived from Yemen to settle in Israel and began teaching them Israeli songs and dances. Her students were her exceptionally gifted boys and girls, and from them, she learned many aspects of Yemenite Jewish tradition. As the ancient Hebrew says, I learned from all my teachers, but most of all from my people. They would sing and dance for her in their traditional and exorbitant manner, so different from the European songs and dances she had been taught in the orphanage. Sara began experimenting with the traditional Yemenite dance steps, rhythms, and melodies that were her student expertise. Levi was nearly 40 years when in 1949, she founded Inbal, a performance company that blended sensual dance with theater song and live music. She also welcomed Jerome Robbins and Anna Sokolov, the American contemporary dance pioneers who helped Inbal prepare for tours in Europe in 1956 and in the US in 1957, which I was among them. Modern dance ancient movement. Her work was often quite erroneously labeled as folkloric. Her choreography, as it developed for her company, is modern contemporary dance using ancient movement and rhythmic elements. She particularly noted a stepping pattern they refer to as dasa, swaying the torso and the hip gently forward and back, progressing counterclockwise. For Sara Levi Tanai, the dasa becomes symbolic of walking in the desert, of caravans, of the wide, empty space that she so loved. She has utilized this other folkloric traditional pattern in many variations in her choreography. I remember she used to do a lot of body roll. We used to do that so much, the body roll. Achievement and legacy. In 1952, Sara Levi Tanai had group performing her own dances. That year, Jerome Robbins came to Israel to report on the dance scene for the Norman Fund, American Fund for Israeli Institutes, and was introduced to Sara and her work. Robin found Sara Levi Tanai choreography brilliant, original, and unique, and called the mainly vertical dance movement of the Yemenite men Yemenite Gothic. He was also fascinated with the softly bent knee of the Yemenite dancer and regarded it as the perfect demi-plie. His report recommended supporting Inbal Dance Theater and bringing technique teachers from abroad to introduce its dancers, whom he found fascinating but untrained. He specifically recommended that Anna Sokolov, which I work with her, I work with her, thank God, she was great, be sent to teach modern technique and stagecraft, which she did for many extended period in the 1950 and early 1960. Rabin also suggested to the impresario Sol Horok that Inbal be brought on tour. Some of her major work are Songs of Deborah in 1955, Yemenite Wedding 1956, The Story of Ruth 1961, and Revive in 1996. She didn't like to revive her choreography, but at the end she caved in. She was a very strong woman. She knew what she wanted, but she caved into the Revive in 1996 of that. Carry Up to the Desert in 1964, Jacob in Haran 1973, and Song of Song 1982, Revive in 1996. 1964 Book of Ruth won award from the Theatre des Mondiaux in Paris. I don't know if Ariane think that I said Mondiaux is right, but that's what I said. Wrong, maybe. In 1973, she awarded the Israeli Prize in Dance for her contribution in the field performance art. 1984, she won the Moshe Halevi Theater Prize awarded by the Tel Aviv municipality. And in 1986, she was the first recipient of the Israeli Labor Federation Histadrut Prize for Music and Dance. In 1988, she was made an honor citizen of Tel Aviv. And may I add that I understand that today she's considered among the three famous choreographers, which is Jerome Robbins and Martha Graham first, Jerome Robbins, and Sara Levi Tanai. And I think this is it.
Okay,
if anybody has, by the way, it was so quiet, it was great. I wasn't, you know, I was worried.
Because they are on mute.
Yeah.
They couldn't speak.
Now, if anybody has question for me, working with Sara, not about her background anymore, then
Put on the chat if you have some question. I just want to share something, Yoni, before, okay?
Yes.
So, I want to share the, wow, I have many problems with my Zoom. No? Oh, yes? Okay, this is
nice.
This is Sara Levi Tanai. And now just after we have the dance that she did. Conversation. And we have one dance she did. Elginatago Egos from Levi. And the dance. It was Elginategos, so you can see that now the speed of the dance. Why no sound? You have no sound? Yoni, you can hear the sound?
No, I heard. I wanted to add something to that song. She was not only the choreographer, but she composed and wrote. She was a composer and writer too. And that one she was also.
Great.
That's all. Yeah.
Great. Mona, I think it's you have a problem. I want to share another dance of Sara Levi Tanai. I'm sorry because I do everything, so sometimes it's like annotated. So it's the whole video, so So now I want to continue because I didn't do in the chronological time. We have to speak about Gurit Kadman. I will be short because I'm not specialist of the story and everything, but Gurit Kadman is considered like the mom of Bailarikud Event, of Israeli dance. She born in Germany in 1897, and she moved to Palestine in 1944. No, she moved before. She moved in 20s, in Palestine, and she organized the first festival at Kibbutz Dalia in 1944. So it was the first Israeli dance festival, and I want to share with you some dance and some picture. So it's very short. Like this. Okay. Share. Okay, she is Gurit Kadman. If I do some mistake, please, if you can correct me in the chat. And dance from her? No. Yes.
מתלולה כולה זרע רימות ריים שחר אמרתי שתחום דזהב דגן ולא הקר לכל קירנו משתיים דברים שחר לבוא הגרן שידו לזהב בקר את קוצי בנה בוינה המגל ביד כולי זמרי נועד לקוצי בנה שירונה המגל ביד רגדון קוצי נדד שלקחתי זמרי שיבולת המגל מתחבק המה שלקחתי זמרי שיבולת מתלולה כולה זרע רימות רעים שחר אמרתי שתחום דזהב דגן ולא הקר לכל קירנו משתיים דברים שחר לבוא הגרן שידו לזהב בקר את קוצי בנה בוינה המגל ביד כולי זמרי נועד לקוצי בנה שירונה המגל ביד רגדון קוצי נדד שלקחתי זמרי שיבולת המגל מתחבק המה שלקחתי זמרי שיבולת המגל מתחבק המה.
Okay, second thing. So it's not, but it's not with Gurit Kadman, of course, but with Ruti Pardes, very famous woman in Israeli dance, in Bailarikud Event. She's not a choreographer, but she did a lot. Many camps in France, many. She came a lot in France. So.
3, 4.
Sara
Yael, are you here? Yes, I have to find you. I don't know how to find the people. Ah, she's okay. Hi, Yael. Bonjour,
Hi,
Yael.
everybody. I'm very, very happy to be with you. It's very, very important what you are doing, Ariane. Really. Kol hakavod. Kol hakavod. I think that the woman in the dance and you know, in every place, they make a lot of influence on the world. So it's very important to say that.
Okay, I want just to introduce you, Yael. Ask Yael if she can.
Ariane.
Yes, Orly.
I just want to tell you that the way that you find the people's videos is if you go to participants and you put their name and you click the blue arrow, it says Spotlight Video.
Okay.
Instead of looking for the video.
Yes, right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Yael, ask her to introduce Rivka Shturman.
Okay, a great honor for me to introduce Rivka Shturman. Rivka Shturman was a real personality in the Israeli dancing. She also came from Warsaw, where she born in 1903. And she came to Palestine in 1929. She was a pioneer of the Israeli dancing. She started to work in the kibbutz where she lived, in Harod, and she started to work with children. She started to make performances in the kibbutz for the chagim, for all the feasts and a lot of ceremonies. She also learned dance, you know, in Tel Aviv. She learned with Gerta Kraus and Gertrude Strauss, excuse me. And the place where she lived in the kibbutz, there were a lot of Arab people all around. And the Arab people, they attract her attention and inspired her. She did so many dancing, so many styles. And she had a very, very great belief. She believed that the dance is very important for the education. She thought that it's very important to teach the children, to help them to have a real identity, a Jewish and Israeli identity through the dances. So she made a lot of efforts to teach children, and then of course, she did so many dances. You know, we have so many, but I can tell you a few of them, like harmonica, קומאחה, קול דודי, מחול השניים, דודי לי, איתי מלבנון, אם הופלנו, הנה מה טוב, ניצנים, אהבת הדסה. I think that maybe the most popular Israeli dance all around the world during all the years, I think you agree with me that Nigun Atik can take it, yes? So there are so many things to tell about Rivka Shturman, but I think the her dancing are speaking for her. And it's like she's living with us through the dances.
Right. Thank you, Yael. We will come back after to you that you can say what you are doing in your session.
I'll be happy. I am with you.
Okay, thank you. So I share Rivka Shturman, some dance of Rivka Shturman. She has many dance, like Yael told us, like Nigunatik, Simrat Re'emel, David Yefenaim, Charmel Cher, Kumuera, too many dance. And I think it's a very big part of the Rikudeam for the beginners. You couldn't do a beginner session without dance of Rivka Shturman. So Rivka Shturman. So first, sorry. Okay, she's Rivka Shturman. And first dance of that everybody, I think, learn all over the world. The first dance that everybody do. Nigunati. And you can see the first version of Nigunati. Okay, I think we have to come back to the second part. Definitely, we have to come back to the part of couple and Nigunatik. It's very important. It's the part of the dance. I don't know why the second part disappeared. I don't know why. It's if someone know why they skip the second part, let me know. It's a nice part. Okay, second dance, Dodili. Beautiful music.
Oh
Okay. I would like to know if you can answer me. Just show me like that. Why it was regular speed in the past and why everything is so fast now? If someone, wait, I push, Edy, push. Edy?
Yeah. So a couple of things. Number one, the tastes of the world have sped up a little bit. So in general, the pacing of life has gotten faster. But I think the beginning of the speeding up had to do with the changes in dance events and a belief that faster and louder is more exciting.
Yeah, but sometimes the speed is destroy the dance.
Well,
and destroy the dance and the song.
Right, but it also depends on body mechanics. Mm-hmm. Okay, it is more difficult to dance more slowly.
Right.
So what we've seen is dances that are exactly, someone wrote slowly is more technique. So what we have is over time, the majority of dancers who are older have lost physical strength. So together, it's actually, there is a very narrow window of pace which is comfortable for dancers. And if the original recording was below that, then it got sped up to make it functional. Mm-hmm. And then over time, yeah, we are much weaker. Yes, dancers are much weaker than they used to be physically. Someone just wrote. So there's this combination of faster and lack of impatience and lack of skill. So now it's shifting back to not speeding up because now we tend to be dancing. We tend to be staying with the musicians, right? So it's not like the 80s where you could speed up things to go, adios, you had the chipmunks running because people were manually speeding up the things. So that's part of it.
Okay.
In my humble opinion.
Okay, we continue with the founder and we have, it's not so late, so we have time. I'm sorry for the woman from now. I do before the founder and after we will do all of your dance, almost, okay? I want to introduce Leah Bergstein. I would like to ask if Edy can answer or Yael, why she's not considered like the mom of Bailarikud Event? Or Yoni, maybe you can answer. Because she's born in 1902 in Russia. She moved in 25 in Palestine and she started to create a dance. She participated in 1929, so much more time before, at the first celebration of dance in Kibbutz Bet Alpha in 29. Leah Bergstein, and she creates the dance with some rules, like the dance should relate, the step should be connected with the words and the song. And I know probably she's a performer, choreographer for a performance. I don't know. So Leah Bergstein did some dance. And I want to share with you the dance, and after we'll come back to the discussion. I'm sorry because I'm doing everything at the same time. It's so I know that we are not in the. Okay, Leah Bergstein. I want to share with you. And she did dance like Rivka, that people can, Wow. Sorry. Ah. Okay. Where is it? No. Okay. Okay, she is Leah Bergstein. And yes, the dance barefoot. I did it many times, long time. And I want to share with you another dance that we used to do in couple, but she did in circle. Yes, right. It's a good dance for beginners. The couple one is very good, but this one for beginners, the session is very good too. I want to know, Edy, activate, Edy.
Okay, I hope I can answer your question.
No, it's I think you can speak a bit about the woman in America.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to do is, you know, they're sort of, yeah, sure. There are sort of phases of this dancing. So the women choreographers we've already spoken about had a few things in common, and I think it's important to place this in time. Dance was part of education, right? Every people, women were leading the education movement. Dance and music was part of creating a culture. And so you made a dance because it was needed, right? You had to throw a festival, you made a festival dance. You wanted to share the culture of the Yemenites, you made a Yemenite choreography. So dances were the outcome of being a professional that was doing something, as opposed to, I was inspired to make a dance and I want to share it. Women who were doing this were really leading from the position of education, and dancing was part of physical education, okay, in many ways. So in terms of America, It actually runs a little bit later, and we can actually, it's the other show in terms of what happened with women in America. But in general, to have your material, I guess is the setup for the women choreographers, to have to be valued as a dance leader, as a choreographer, you had to be recognized by the system that introduced dances. So you either had to have a harkada, right, a dance event in which you could teach your material to so many people that those people then pushed other people to encourage those dances to be introduced in the teachers' seminars. Or you had, and in general, women didn't have big harkadot because they were raising kids, and it was unacceptable for women to be dance teachers and to do that kind of disgusting nighttime DJ work where you could encourage people to be in couples, right? So as dancing moved out of the realm of education, it became men's work as it moved into the realm of things you do at night as a DJ event leader. And so women's choreations didn't get spotlighted because you had to be connected to the world, and somehow you had to have an in to be exposed. So the other thing was you had to be Israeli. So many years ago, I made a comment, which was not polite, but was true, that you're nobody if you don't have an Israeli passport and a penis, right? No matter how talented you are as a teacher, as a choreographer, as a creator, you didn't rank because the system was organized and the control was in the power of males, because women were mostly, many of them were wives, or it was inappropriate to be out at night. So the shift to recognizing women as choreographers, women as professional contributors to the dance community has only happened recently. And anybody who's been in this business, who even got recognized a tiny itsy bitsy little bit 20 or 30 years ago, you know, was part of a miracle. We're talking about people like Yoni and Nona and people who made dances, and it didn't matter how good it was. It didn't matter how good your work was. There remains an old boys network where people shared their ideas and shared access to presenting their material to the people they knew and they trusted. And that happened to be mostly men supporting other men. When I was teaching, and then I'll shut up, the only reason I had access, the only reason I got recognized in any way, shape, or form as an early female who didn't have a penis and didn't have a passport was because I came from somewhere that wasn't a threat. So I was, you know, I was either Moshiko's dance partner, or I was the one who studied dancing, or I came from outer space. And the people who invited me to camps, except for Phil Moss, initially, the early people who invited me to camps and to do workshops were women who said, we want to see how women dance. We want to teach us how women can move. So kudos to the women who were leading Hakadot and leading dance events, who actually helped move this forward, so that this later wave, right? So we had the wave of women educators creating culture in Israel. That's the early. But then the next round had to get through that. Dancing happens at night in nightclub settings. This is the 60s, 70s, 80s, and it's not appropriate for women, and the power shifts. So I guess this is kind of your transition into not dead choreographer ladies.
Thank you. I want to continue with two from the one, it's very important too, it's Margalit Oved. I don't know if she's born in thank you, Edy. In 1937, she moved in Israel in 49. She was a principal dancer in Bal from Sara Levi Tanai. She was for 15 years in Bal company. She moved in LA in 65, and she started to work with education dance in University of California, and she created many dance with she was Yemenite, and she created many dance with style, Yemenite style, right, Yoni?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Please correct me when I say something wrong, please. You could. And I want to share some dance that we know of her. Yes. So first, she is. You can see? Yes. Wait, I just. Yes, she is Margalit. In the probably in representation, I don't know, from Inban. It looked like 60 and dance. A reshoot with Roti Pardes, the version of Margalit. Yes. No, she is. Margalit, she is. No, it's okay. Okay, because yes, ST. She okay. And I want to continue with something else from her. Again with Roti Pardes.
ערב טוב לכולם וחג שמח. Bonsoir, buenas tardes, and good evening and happy holiday. I'm here to tell you about one of the most famous women in Israel folk dance, which is Tirzt Hodes. She's the second mother of folk dance. The first one was the Gurit Kadman, the one that established the Rikudei Am, which the first dance was Hora Agadati by Baruch Agadati, but she improved it and made something different towards the 1980s. So now I will tell you about Tirzt, which is a very, very good friend of mine. We are very close, and she's like a mother to me for many, many years. Tirzt was born in 1922. I will tell you first, her record, and then I will tell you some private memories that I have with Tirzt, and I still have. She was born in 1922. I'm reading from the, from a written paper, of course, in Germany to a Zionist family. From an early age, she was engaged in physical activity and was a German.